Hi everyone, my name is Leviathan, and thank you for watching my submission for SGDQ 2020. The video you're watching is Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion HD Renovation, rooms 1 through 1000, which is the longest category and basically means I'm going to be beating the game plus a final boss. This was made by Albino Moose Games in 2017 and is basically an RNG based game where every room is random. There's different floors, different specimens, and things that can kill you, and it's just spooky, as the name implies. This audio was recorded in post, so that way I could have a better chance to better explain the run with focusing on it that way. So for the next about hour and a half, I'm going to explain mechanics of the game and little tidbits as they go. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually start the run. Starting now. Alright, so as the name implies, it was made by Spooky. You don't really get to see her until room 250. But yeah, so essentially the room, as you can see, everything's RNG. You could get short rooms, you can get fast rooms. Or short rooms and long rooms, rather. So as you can see now, I'm getting a bit of shorter rooms and long rooms. And because it's RNG, you want to, of course, get short rooms. Now, there are save points every 50 rooms, from rooms 50 to 300. And 300 and forward, it's every 100 rooms. Now, the first 50 rooms, there's no real danger, or specimens, what they call specimens. There are at least, I think there's 8 of them in the entire game. Each one has their own things that can kill you and chase you down. For now, for rooms 1 through 50, is just the jump scares, as you'll see sometimes will be popping from the wall. In the top left-hand corner, you can see I have a health gauge, which I can die, so once that depletes, I die. It does regenerate over time though, which is nice. Also, you can see that my stamina bar is a thing, and that plays a very crucial role in the entire run, because if you run out of stamina, you have to stop, let it recharge a bit, and go through. So luckily, if you get through rooms like I am right now, or is just flying through, you don't have to worry about the stamina going down. So for the first 50 rooms are pretty boring. I wouldn't say boring, I would just say that it's just you want to get short rooms just to get a good pace started. And as you can see, I'm just about done with it. For rooms 1 through 50, like right there's a pumpkin. Rooms 1 through 50, that room right there is the worst one. So yeah, there's just that. As you can see also as well, when you go, you'll see later on in other rooms, you'll see some of the same rooms, but there'll be different palette change. Every new section has a different palette change, and then it includes more various different types of rooms after the fact, and then themed areas, which I will tell you which ones they are when we get there. So we got through room 1 through 50. So once you get through 50, you get to an elevator, you drop down, and you go on to the next section. So this next section here, as you can see, there's a couple different rooms, but now it's a palette change. We will face our real first danger, if you can call it that, at room 60. Room 60 has a green monster. I don't know his official name, but we call him the Goop Monster, or at least that's what I call him. I'll explain his mechanics when we actually get to him. So yeah, it should be room 60 is when we will go ahead and see him. Now when this actually does, if it does get run at SGDQ, hopefully we'll have some good RNG. So you read the note there, and then you can see the little goop guy that comes up. Now he's not really much of a threat unless you get cornered. There are rooms that are locked if you go to him, and you have to go to the other door, and that can be a problem. But mostly he's just an annoyance. As you can see, the green goops that are on the floor, those green goops can slow you down and use your stamina. So if you happen to get rooms that are a little bit wider, you can go around them, but as you can see, most of the time the rooms they're just in the worst spot. Later on we'll see lots of him. The way that it works is later on in the games, the more specimens that we are introduced to, the specimens will be RNG what appears at certain presets. So there will be certain places where a specimen will spawn, but there's no guarantee which one it'll be. So he's one of the ones I would say I like to have, opposed to others, which you'll see later. There are ones that are real threats. So far so good. We're actually on a pretty decent pace. A couple new rooms introduced. As you can see, some of the cute little cardboard cutouts that pop in. Also, there's another thing that happens in the game. You'll notice a lot of repeating rooms. throughout the thing. Like right now, I think I'm having some repeating rooms right now. This is good to have. Usually it goes between like 3 and 6 rooms. And if you had a bunch of short rooms, that'd be great to, you know, really grind through the levels. So I got through about 4 rooms right there. So yeah, stamina is a really, really important thing to have. It is really bad when it runs out. So you just kind of try to pace yourself as best as you can. A lot of times you get lucky and you won't even have to worry about it. But it's really usually only like the super long rooms. I can tell when I need to continue or not. And also towards like the last 10 rooms of like each section, a specimen will spawn again. So like he's back. Since he's the only one that's appeared so far, he's the only one we'll encounter. We won't encounter the next one until room 120. Now, room 120 is a themed area, which I will elaborate more on. But this game does go by fast. We're already almost at 100 rooms. And there are 1,000 rooms, but here's the thing that happens is on the themed areas, the number doesn't go up until you get out of the themed areas. But it's very high-paced. Also, there's an arcade there where you can actually play games inside of the game, which is really nice. All right, so we are at room 100. These rooms all look the same. The little save rooms, like I said, from rooms 300 and on, it'll only be every 100 rooms instead of every 50. But from now on, just to kind of get you acclimated to the game, they have it be that way. Alright, so now we've got a different palette now. You'll see an introduction of some different rooms as they happen. But thankfully for me, the RNG during this run wasn't too terrible. It could have been better, but it still got me second place. So this is a puzzle, the new puzzle room. So basically, it's you have to go through the areas, and it's like kind of like a Simon says, where you have to, when it dings, you're going to the right way, and you have to do it 4 times. And it's all random what it could be. Usually I just guess. Sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't. As you can see for this one, I really didn't guess right. And it can be costly on time. Usually this is like something, unless, I guess if I did it really well, I would reset the run. But it really, there's a lot of time saved to happen later on in the run. Yeah, I really, really messed up on this one. Probably cost me about 45 seconds there. But I just kept going, because the problem is if you're not getting all the dings, there's 3 possible combinations. But then I made it through, so that was terrible. But we can go through. So you can see the green goop rooms there as well. That's a new room. But there's a lot of fun and interesting things. There's a lot of throwbacks to a lot of old horror tropes that you'll see later on. And I like this game a lot because it's a good mixture of like actual horror, because it does get kind of scary and gets your heart racing after a while. A room like this, like you saw right there, that's locked. So if I had a specimen behind me and that happened, like any one of them, I could get hurt there, and that's not a problem. So the goop guy is back because he's the only one around. So like a room like this, you can dodge around. So it's kind of good to just take the path that wouldn't get you hit with that. So this is room 120. So I don't really know what this is pertaining to. But it's definitely just like, it's kind of like a lab, as you can see. There's things in the cultures and whatnot. But the second specimen we're going to meet is a giant centipede. You can hear it walking. If I be quiet for a second, you'll hear it. Now that door's locked, or it's not locked sometimes. It was locked that time, which is bad. Now I would like to take the time to show you what the specimen looks like, but since we're running it on a speed run, you really won't see it too much. If you see the holes in the ceiling, that's where it pops out of. If this room is not made up to have a ceiling like that, you'll hear it burst through the door. But you can hear it behind me. It's not particularly another dangerous one. I guess if you ran out of stamina, or if you were in a really, really long room, it could catch up to you. But the specimens that started out at the beginning really aren't too bad. Now, this is one of the worst rooms to get throughout the entire game. There are 3 variations of this room. Now this room is terrible because, as you can see, it's long. I'm running out of stamina. I do a little trick here where I let a little bit of my stamina build up, and then I go on, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a push. There's multiple ways people do it, but that's just the way I do it. You'll see this room multiple times throughout it. It is terrible to get. A lot of times you have to reset, and it's really bad. But sometimes you get lucky and you don't have to deal with it at all, between, you know, a floor of rooms. So, yeah, we're almost quickly approaching almost room 350. Or 150, rather, sorry. So, we got it again, unfortunately. I would probably take this time here for these rooms to probably have donations read. Because these rooms, they take forever. Now, there are instances where there is a specimen after me during this room, because not all of them, like the first one that you saw, the green goop guy, he can float and hover, so he's not like stuck on the track like I am. He can just float over to me. This is another one of the rooms. I don't understand the logic behind it, but essentially I have to go through, the room is repeating, but I have to go through it 3 times. I don't know why it's 3 times, it's just how it is. And they give you a little jump scare there. I remember the first time that happened to me, I was really scared. But you go through it 3 times, and then you read the note, and you go through. That's another one of those rooms that's just terrible to have. On the wall there on the left, you saw it for half a second there, was actually some of the backers for the game originally. I like to show off more of the game, but since it's a speedrun, there's some things. But I'll try to talk about things as quickly as I can. But thankfully for me now, it's just the goop guy. I think this is locked. Okay, no, that one wasn't locked. There is a further instance where I do get caught, but it's not like a killing blow. You just get your health, and thankfully your health regens, which is a really nice thing. And there's not really much music in this game. Like, you're hearing a track right now, but the music in this game, it's usually kind of just quiet. Some of the specimens do have themes, but some of them is just you hear their noises. Alright, we're at room 150, so that's 150 rooms down. This room is still the same. There's also cute little posters on the wall. I'll probably show them off at GDQ, but they're just funny little, like, throwbacks to other things. So, another palette change. As you can see, it's more of like a grayish brick color. Now, in room 160 is going to be where our next specimen is going to, and they're called specimens in this game. Oh, there's a pumpkin there. So the next specimen that we're going to meet is going to be the typical, I guess, Japanese schoolgirl gets murdered by her classmates, seeks revenge trope that you see a lot. You won't see her too much because I'm running away from her. But yeah, it changed into a classroom, kind of, or a school. This is one of the few areas, themed areas, that the numbers actually go up as you go through them. Some of them don't go up until you actually leave it. So, in room 166 is when, actually no, sorry, room 167, rather, is going to be when she appears. We'll see her a couple of times. You won't see her initially because we're running away from her. But her theme's going to appear now. When you hear that, you know that's her. Now, she's basically just floating and scary. She's not too dangerous. The only time I would ever say she's dangerous is if you're going through a spiral room and it happened to her. She can go through walls. She can come out the door you're trying to go through, and you can see her, which is pretty scary the first time that happened. But more often than not, she's like the other 3 just that have happened, or the other 2 that have happened so far. Just run away and try to get to the next area. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. So the first time that you encounter these specimens, they only appear for a certain number of rooms. And look, I just got another specimen there. So now we've got the centipede. So it is random what we get, which is nice because sometimes you might get lucky and get a really good one, like this one where it's not going to bother you, or you might get a really bad one. We haven't faced any really bad ones. There's only 2 offhand that are really, really dangerous that can kill your run. But if you know how to play it safe and you know how their mechanics work, it's really not that big of a deal. I think this door might be locked here. Oh no, that one's not locked. But yeah, usually it's just running through. Some new rooms. But a lot of these are some of the same rooms are from like 1 through 50. And these rooms are just flying by. We're almost already at 200. We're almost a quarter of the way there. Now, unfortunately, we got this room. Now, it's terrible to get this room with the centipede because you can just hear him. I'll be quiet for a moment. You can just hear him on your tail. And as long as I guess you kind of keep your stamina going, you can keep it from getting you. But there is the occasional time you'll get hit, and it really is not a big deal. Once you get hit, it backs off for a second, but it is kind of nerve-wracking to have it right behind you the entire time. And it backed off. You can always tell by the music change. Now, there are specimens in the future that don't have music at all, and you can only tell by their gimmicks that they have, which is really scary, because you won't know what's happening until it's actually happening. But yeah, as we're continuing on, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper. We won't see Spooky till room 250, though. You'll actually be able to formally talk to her. So, next area. Pretty much all the same. All of these rooms will always be the same, but we'll just keep going down. You can also, if you're playing this game casually, there are save points and passwords that you can use for if you ever wanted to practice this. Alright, so right off the bat, we got one of these rooms, which is terrible. Sometimes you get lucky and you just guess, and more often than not, if you can get at least 2 of them on the first try, the process of elimination just becomes really easy. So as you can hear, is left, left, straight, and then it's probably right. Or left. Yep, no, it's left. And then when it's done, it's done. So this next area here, I guess I would call it the basement of the mansion. You'll see a lot of hot water heaters and electronics. It's a little strange. It's the only area that has this, but you'll see like a lot of themed areas that have like hot water heaters, which is kind of funny. So the Japanese girl followed for a little bit. She's gone. So this next area here is actually the Silent Hill area. I think it's only 3 or 4 rooms, but you'll meet our next specimen, which isn't particularly dangerous. He's really slow. The only thing that he does is when he does chase you, he makes all the textures on the wall change to like different things like that, which can be kind of jarring if you're running or if it's like a dark room. It does get to be a little disorientating, and I guess that's his only trope. The only time he would be a problem is if there's one of those 2-sided rooms or one of them's locked, which thankfully yet in the run we haven't actually passed yet. So he's just going to chase you. You'll hear every door break down. And eventually, after a few rooms, he will stop. But luckily for me, I'm getting a bunch of long rooms. Or sorry, short rooms. Thankfully, there aren't really any specimens that can, like, except for one that can outrun you. There's one that can kill you by other means, and there's one that can outrun you. But that's not for a lot of rooms ahead. Now, luckily for me, that room door is locked, and he had stopped chasing me. Now, that would have been a point if he was chasing me. You have to take force damage, because there's really no way to get around him. So for the rest of the rooms, really nothing different, other than some room design changes. A lot of them you'll see from rooms prior, and they're just reskinned with whatever the theme is. Each, 50 floors and then 100 floors will actually, almost be the same. But there is a lot of variations on them. And then there's areas that are just completely crazy as far as the room designs. Especially rooms, I think, 600 to 700. There's some extremely long rooms that are just, they're always like that, and it's really, really terrible. So we're getting chased by the centipede there. You saw it for like half a second there. We try not to look at it. It's pretty scary. A lot of these are pretty unnerving. They're supposed to be cute. Like you see the little ones that jump off the wall that are various like shapes and with smiles and such on. But that's the cutesy part of it. But a lot of these specimens are not so cute. So we're quickly approaching room 250 now, which you'll get to meet Spooky for the first time. I'm going to be quiet during her dialogue talk so you can hear her say her bit. She does explain a little bit of plot, and she's actually really funny and kind of dry too, so I do like her a lot. We'll meet her several times throughout the run. So here she is. So, yeah, you see her for like half a second. She says, oh, you're still continuing on. That's great. You're here. She's like saying it very sarcastically. Inside that present box is just like, it says look behind you, and then it's all those little guys that you just saw right there popping out. We won't see her again until room 500, and then room 750, and then room 1000. So we will see her in intervals of each quarter. And every time she's like, oh, you're still alive. Oh, okay, here you go. Like, she's not expecting us to be alive, because this is her, everything she's created. She's created this mansion. She's created all these things to try to stop you, and she's, like, every time more agitated as we go on, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's how it is. And the first room that you meet her in is the very first room in the game. She says her name, who she is, and like, oh, go through. But since it's the first, we can actually run past her. Now, all the other encounters we meet her, we actually have to sit there and wait. So this is another type of room. We haven't seen this one yet. This one isn't too bad, depending on which one it is. If it's the one that has the table on the left, it's the worst of the two. So you can, at the last second, you can see the table off in the distance, and you just have to go this way. This is the worst of the two. The other one, you can go left, and it's not so terrible. So I got really unlucky here, and I got not only that room, but then I got this room. So as you can see, in an actual speedrun situation, it could be pretty bad. But time overall, these rooms don't really make much of a difference, because it's all randomly generated what you get. Because sometimes I've had rooms where I've never had, like, floors between like 50 or 100 never actually have these rooms appear at all, which is really great. But sometimes you get really bad luck, and they're just like, you get like 4 or 5 times in a set of 100 or 50 rooms. But a lot of times you'll get lucky. Like right now, I'm getting a bunch of duplicate rooms in a row. So we're being chased by, I think, the caterpillar again. You could always tell by the hole. So our next themed area will be in room 310. So we're quickly approaching that. But you can really get some speed going, especially like if you know like pretty much how every room is designed, and I pretty much do. For the most part, I know what to expect as soon as the door goes through. Now, I'm playing on an older patch, which is really good, because on the newer patches, they added a door animation, which would make this significantly longer. Now, there is an in-game timer for this game, but for the actual speedrun on speedrun.com, we don't use it, because apparently it times it differently. So we actually use a timer, as you can see on my splits right there. But it does show you a final time at the very end of the game, which is, like, I think, like 10 minutes faster than what my time is now. So we're getting chased by the scary girl who's trying to kill us, and if she gets close enough too, she whispers really creepy things. So unfortunately, we got this room, but you'll get a chance to actually see what she looks like. Which, if you don't get to this bend quick enough, she can actually hit you here. So you got to be really, really hopeful. So yeah, she's pretty scary. I don't like her just because she says really creepy things in your ears. But there's a few other ones later on that you'll see that are way creepier, especially when you're wearing headphones. But alright, we are another 50 rooms down. I decided to show off the room here, so I got a cute little poster. Keep that blood pumping. Everything's got a smiley face on it, which makes you feel happy, I guess. And that little cross there is where you would save. So from these floors on now, we won't have a save room until for another 100 rooms now. So now the design, as you can see, there's different rooms that we've never seen before, and it's kind of a brick color. Also, some of the rooms, and they fixed this with a newer patch, some of the rooms are extremely dark. I don't know why that is, but sometimes you'll get a room that seems very well lit, and sometimes you'll get rooms that are really dark. Now, unfortunately, we got this puzzle again. So this puzzle and the guessing puzzle are the two puzzles that really are terrible, because they're really long. Unless you get really lucky with the guessing one, then you could just get through it really quick, which I've done before, just on a whim. But thankfully in this run, I didn't encounter too many of them. I think we have some duplicate rooms, but for the most part, this, if I remember correctly, because I recorded the actual video footage for this the day before this commentary here. But yeah, okay, so this is the next themed area. It is more than likely the Shadow Temple from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So yeah, it definitely is that. So we're collecting keys. We have to collect a key there, and then we go through the area here, because we have to get to the boss door. Now, this specimen is when it gets dangerous. He's pretty much the happy mask salesman from Majora's Mask, but he behaves like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. If you look at him, he won't hurt you. But if you don't look at him and run away and you're not to the next room in time, he can spawn right on top of you and hurt you. But if you look at him for too long, he'll just like go into the ceiling and come down on top of you. So if you get really lucky and you know how long the room is, like right there, I was looking because I was making sure. But as long as the room is short enough, you can get to the next room without any issues. This guy gives me the most anxiety out of all of them. Because if you happen to get one of those really long windy rooms that you've seen before, that could be a game breaker, because you basically have to keep your eyes on him while trying to wind through. Now, there are some rooms where I know that I have to look at him, and a lot of times I'll run backwards, like you can see right here, so that way he doesn't get the drop on me. But yeah, he's pretty creepy, and he's like right there. He just like spawned right on top of me, and he's not always smiling too. Sometimes you'll see him and he'll actually have like really evil eyes and a grin. He's pretty spooky, and he's gone. We will see him later on. I do remember him spawning several times, but yeah, that is the happy mask salesman from Majora's Mask, who's not so happy. He's trying to kill you. He's like a puppet master in this one. That little computer that you saw there, that tells you all the specimens that you've seen so far, if you happen to read it in the game. I'm gonna take a drink of water right now. Give me a second. Alright. So for the rest of 300 to 400, nothing super crazy, just a lot of rooms, depending on what specimen you get. Right now we got the centipede again. Now, I'll probably be talking a lot more about different things through the actual run. I wouldn't say that this gets boring, but there is a lot of repetition and not a lot of themed things until different specific parts of the room. I would probably take this time to have donations read, or I would talk with the couch and everything like that. But even though it is repetitious, it does have a lot of fun. And we're already almost at room 350 already. So like I had said, there's no save rooms on the 50 mark now. It's only the 100 mark. So I will do a split on my splits there. The splits during this run were really up and down. As you can see, it went from like taking like 20 some seconds off to being almost a minute in the red, and it jumped around a lot. I ended up saving about 30 some seconds and taking second place. I had originally recorded a run before this, and it was only a third place run. It was my very first run, because I knew the layout. I just never attempted to actually run room 1 through 1000. But because it's the longest one and people want to see you beat the game, I figured that's the one I was going to run, which is nice because it showcases the entire game. But now we're being chased by the crazy creepy girl, and she's gone. But originally with this game, I didn't start speed running this game. I've played this game a really long time ago, a couple of years ago. And I only played it like casually, and then I decided to start speedrunning it one day, and it's the first game I actually took any world records on. Currently I hold 4 world records. I hold rooms 1 through 150, rooms 1 through 250, rooms 1 through 500, endless mode rooms 1 through 500, but unfortunately as of right now I only have second place for rooms 1 through 750 and rooms 1 through 1000. So there are a lot of categories actually for this game. But I have a lot of fun with it. It's a lot of there is a bit of skill involved, but a lot of it's luck and a lot of grinding and hoping that you get the really good RNG. Now, unfortunately, here we actually got another one of those winding rooms. We'll see them a lot. They will be to my benefit. Sorry if you heard that my headphones turned off. Give me 1 minute. But yeah, it'll probably take this time to read donations, so it actually has a benefit to it. Now we are being chased by the Silent Hill monster, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, so he kind of looks like a Silent Hill nurse, but he's got a big axe. He's really, really slow. He's like I said, if you get cornered, he's an issue. And also this windy room here was the good RNG for that one, because it's not nearly as long of having to go all the way around. Yeah, but we're quickly approaching room 400. We're almost halfway there, and I'm enjoying it so far. So we're trying to fly through this really quick. Sometimes you'll just get through a ton of rooms and get through it really quick. Unfortunately here, this happens, and this will probably more than likely happen if this does get accepted at SGDQ, but I still have, I'm confident that I can get well above what I'm going to make my estimate for. This run ended at 130. I'm going to make my estimate 135. That gives me like a 5-minute, I guess, leeway either way. It shouldn't be much of a deal. This run actually had some really terrible RNG, and I still managed to take second place. So this run, this category is not super optimized. The world record holder did get a really, really solid run of like an hour and 26 minutes. So one day, but you have to get really insane RNG. So it does make it worth the grind. But yeah, we are almost done with with this area. And the next area, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what the next theme. Oh, I know what the next theme is. It's not really a theme. It's a theme, but it's not a theme. It's really weird. You'll see in a little bit. All right, just about there. Yeah, usually a specimen will spawn like within the next like 10 rooms before you finish. All right, we are there. I think we're gonna look at some posters here. I think I was just showing off the room just to show you guys. It's just a room that with all the dirt. Don't know how the dirt's not coming in, but you know. So now we're in an area where things kind of have like a bit of a blue tint. Some different rooms, of course, but a lot of it's just the same. You'll see a lot of the same rooms, which is okay. I mean, I guess it makes for better programming just to have a reskinned room. But the next area that comes up is a little weird. And you'll see it at room 410. Usually it's like the rooms of 10. Oh, you actually see it right here. So it's like a clock tower. Every few rooms you'll go into a themed door, and there'll be a talking cat, which I'm assuming is Spooky, and she tells you some cryptic message about your mind and stuff like that. It's really weird. Never really understood this, what like throwback this is to what like trope is, but yeah, it's really weird. Like yeah, two sides of the same coin. So in between these sections here, you'll have normal rooms. So thankfully, I'm pretty sure I got some pretty short rooms when I did it. You have to go into the rooms that are lightly colored, because those are the ones every other one of those are locked. And then the next time we go to that will be the last time. I believe it's right here. Yep, so we go through the door. It's all galaxy-like. Oh, lots of blood. Now we're just going through the endless void now. This section is a little weird, but this next section coming up actually has some of the best music, at least to me in the game. It kind of reminds me of like a 1980s, almost like a GoldenEye 007 level, mixed with like a 1980s like action film. I don't know why. So this is technically a specimen room, but we only see it in these next few rooms. If you see as I'm running around, you see like the little designs on the wall and the little faces popping up. They're technically a specimen if you read the story about it, but apparently they only attack like if you have a really like weak constitution. But basically you just run through it. Now these rooms are actually RNG. There is pathing that is a lot faster than some of the pathing. So sometimes you'll get a room that like you're twisting and turning around. And now, yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't get too many good rooms actually on this. So like right here, that's the best RNG you can get running straight through. But sometimes you'll get rooms where you'll wind through and you run out of your stamina. Because stamina conservation is pretty much the name of the game in this. So that was actually fairly short, that area for once. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. But yeah, and unfortunately right afterwards we get one of these rooms. Now thankfully, it was one of the shorter areas. But it happened again. It's really unfortunate because like you'll be on a good run, and you'll be like a few rooms away from the split point, and you'll get a room like this, or you'll get doubles. This game is very unforgiving. I've had many a run where I'm on world record pace or on just like a really good pace, and this pops up like like the 49th or the 99th of a room, and it just ruins everything. But you know, it's just how it is. But I really enjoyed this game a lot because it's just it's cute, but it's also not cute. It's a horror game, but it's like not your traditional horror game. You'll never get the same run twice, which is nice. But it's got a lot of fun lore, and the final battle's pretty cool and all that. You'll see as we go on. I don't want to spoil anything until we get there. So yeah, like I said, the last 5 rooms or so, 10 rooms before a checkpoint, or we'll get a specimen. So we got the goop guy. I don't know his actual. They all have actual names. I just never cared to learn them. I just give them all their own cutesy names. I'm pretty sure for this area, I think because not only this is one of the worst rooms, but I got like duplicates of it. So because of that, it's just really slow. It was like one of the worst things that could happen. But I'd rather have this happen than the Happy Shop, Happy Mask Salesman. I'm pretty sure he appears a few times later on. I almost did die to him, so there is a risk, but the way I look at it is the risk is like in an area that's almost 3/4 of the way through, so if I don't make it, I don't make it. But I've only died maybe once or twice there, but as long as I play it super safe, we'll be fine. As long as you like really adhere to like his mechanics, you'll be alright. And if the rooms are short, then you'll be okay. Now, unfortunately, I got one of these rooms. I actually dislike this room the most, just because it's like really have to guess. If you get really lucky, then that's cool. I'd rather to get the other one, where you just have to go through the motions. This one, you could mess it up like I did. I didn't get really good luck. A lot of times I'll just go left a bunch of times and then just be like, okay, and that'll work. I think I'm almost done. No, I keep messing it up. And then it's done. Yeah, it stinks. Because like a lot of times you'll go through and not only are you trying to keep an eye on like your stamina meter, but you're also trying to like remember what order you did, and sometimes I'll forget and be like, oh man, what did I just do? And then beeps and boops. Right, not too much left in these next few rooms. There's just going to be a lot of rooms, and I'm not sure. I don't know exactly when the specimens come in. We don't know if it's actually RNG when they come in, or if they're set rooms. We know that it's random when they come in, but there are certain sections that I know when one's going to appear. I don't remember them too much in the later rooms, because more often than not, I'm just trying to run away. And everything like that's usually not an issue. Oh, these rooms are the bane of my existence. And we got the worst run as well. Actually, no, this one's the second worst one. The other one, the whiny one, is way worse. Alright, so we got our lady friend again, chasing after us as usual. I think there's one instance during this run where she actually like appears through the door, and it's only whenever there's a whining room. Other than that, she just has cool music for you to play, which it gets louder at a point. And I don't know if it's because she's super close, but it's like rooms like these, like where she could easily just pop through the wall. But thankfully that doesn't happen. Because if you're quick, you don't have to worry about it. Because none of the ghosts there are really super fast anyways. There's just like the guy you saw is super fast, the Happy Mask Salesman. Because he could just drop right on you. Hello, Mr. Tree. These still, I mean, even though like they're not super like scary, they do scare you from time to time, especially like if you're running through and you're just not thinking about it. All of a sudden, one of the spooky little faces will come off the wall and just give you a bit of a fright. I mean, it's the name of the game. It's the Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. This is actually the Renovation version of it. There's actually the original version, which came out a few years ago, which was way less. It was worse than this one as far as like the mechanics went. It was very poorly built, so this is why it's called HD Renovation. So it's a big old remake, but I like it. And there's also a mode called Katamari Hospital, which is an entirely new area, like a whole new game mode. And then there's like Endless Mode 1 through 500, where it throws pretty much a random of everything that you've seen in the game, and some other stuff too, which is a lot of fun. So this game has a lot of replayability, even if you're not speedrunning it. Alrighty, so we are halfway through. Faster than you think. Alright, so let Spooky talk. Unfortunately, you can't move during these bits, so you're going through an area here. So the game tries to dupe you into thinking that you're back. So we're actually back at rooms 1 through 50, or we're actually at 1 through 50 now. So we have to get to room 60. Now, during the actual speedrun, I'll probably play it off like I don't know what's going on and probably trick the audience. But when you get to room 60, you'll see what happens. I remember the first time this happened, I was like, oh no, what's going on? Because it does kind of freak you out, like, oh man, I don't want to do all this again. So when you get to right before the goop monster appears, you go there, and boom, door, express tunnel, we're out. And bada bing, bada boom, we're good to go. Easy peasy. Now the next themed area, I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I think it's not forbidden. I think a lot of these rooms are just going to be a lot of running through. Oh, see, there you got me. Because I don't remember actually everything that happened yesterday, so I'm kind of just playing as we go. I would have liked to do this at the same time, but due to like a lot of resets and just trying to focus on the run, I thought it'd just be more pertinent to just do it in post, so that way I can better speak to you, whoever's watching this. So you get a lot of the room varieties are actually really nice for this as well, because you like it'll be a cultivation of all the rooms you've been to, so it's like you never know what you're gonna get. Oh, that face is actually pretty scary. I don't like that one. Oh, and we got our worst best friend here. So I know that he's coming after me, so I'm running backwards now. Only for rooms where I know that he could pop up behind me. So you can actually continue running backwards until you see the door and open the door from behind. Unfortunately here I actually got a bunch of clone rooms. But I know which rooms that I can get away from him in and which ones I can't. Also introducing the purple room. But yeah, I used to not know that you could run away from him. As soon as I saw him, I literally would just like walk backwards, run backwards when he was around. But now I know that you can just cheese him for most of the part. You might get unlucky, you might get hit like once, but more often than not, unless you get those really windy rooms, which did happen in this run later on. He's a threat, but he's not. You got to pay more attention. He's not as cheesed as the other specimens we met. Man, look at that. We're already halfway through 550. And straight away... Okay, so now we're in the deer god area. So, pay close attention. Those deer can kill you. Stay away from the deer. We get an axe, which is very, very important for later on. Kill the end boss with it. Take a certain pathing around here. If you take a different pathing, you can actually get hurt by the deer, like I just did. The deer god's kind of creepy. It's this giant floating, like... deer with a headdress, and it tells me it wants to feed me to its children, and why do I run from it? You'll hear it. It's scary, and you'll see all the screens all messed up. Now, much like the floating Japanese girl, this one can phase through walls as well, and there are a couple of times where it actually did nab me, and a bunch of subliminal text will pop on the screen. But yeah, I call her the deer god because she's a deer, and she's apparently a god, and really, really creepy. I'd like to show off some of the specimens more often. I'll probably do that for a second during the run, just so people could see what's chasing, because for most people, you can't even see what's after me. I think the only one you guys really saw was the goop guy and the happy mask salesman. But, you know, most of the time we just want to get way far away from them as quick as possible, because they can be a really, really big pain. We don't want that. Now, just like the other specimens... Now, I got really lucky here. Oh, see, right there. It did hit me. So, yeah, really, really spooky text popped on the screen. But I think it was one of the only times. But thankfully, your health does regen after a couple of rooms. So, it's not like this is the health you have, because that would be way harder Because there were a few points later on in the run where I was actually down to like 1 hit from death. And as soon as that one's gone, now we're back to our lady friend chasing us. So there's always specimens chasing us now. But I mean, that's the name of the game. Alright. I do like the purple rooms though, even though they're not particularly short. They're kind of cool to look at. Okay, she's gone. Alright, cool. Only 13 more rooms to go to our next area. I hope you've been enjoying it as I can. This is my very first SGDQ, so I am a little bit nervous, but I'm trying to be as confident as I can with these videos. Usually I'm a little bit more lax, but I'm trying to be more informative with this and explaining it. And you end up getting unlucky and getting a bunch of... It's like usually like the last 5 rooms you might get unlucky and not get any short rooms. But thankfully here, it's been pretty okay. And of course we get the centipede monster 2 rooms away. You'll get that sometimes, like 2 rooms away, and it's like, oh, for what reason? We're already here. And room 600. Awesome. I was looking at the posters for a second, because some of the posters are pretty cool. Alright, so this is the worst area in the game. Room 600 to 700 is the worst. The reason why this is the worst is because you're either going to get extremely short rooms, as you see now, or extremely long rooms. Depending on the RNG, you might get lucky and get a bunch of short, or you might just get a bunch of long. I got a mixture of both, which is really terrible. Because say I get the specimen, like the Happy Mask Salesman, which I did get. This is bad because we can't outrun him, and if I'm running out of stamina, he can pop up behind me, which he did a lot. So it's really bad. It just makes for a really bad speed run in the sense that, well, I wouldn't say really bad speed run, but it makes for a bad area. This is where I lose most of my time during the run. Also, I got jebaited there, and it locked me. So there are 2 areas. So if I was being chased, that'd be really, really, really terrible. Okay, so this next area, I don't really know what to call it. It's kind of like aliens. So we turn on the generator, turn on the power. It's kind of like we're on a ship here. This next specimen is probably, I would honestly say, the worst, in my opinion. And I'll show you why. So we're going through different areas, going through doors here, and we need to go in the vent. So that handy dandy axe we got previously is really nice. So now we're going through the vents, which is really super scary. I remember the first time I did this, I thought I was going to die. So use the axe to cut whatever's on the wall there. You could see the specimen behind the vent for a hot second. So go through and right through to the next vent. So yeah, you will see in a moment why this area is the worst. So on top of having long rooms, we don't want this guy coming after us. This is the one that can outrun you. So you turn on the power generator there, and look, there it is. So what this thing does is if you run too far ahead of it, it turns into this really fast worm that can chase you and outchase you. Now, if you keep close to it and don't outrun it or get to a certain distance from it, it'll turn into like this giant... It's hard to explain. It kind of looks like a predator's mouth on legs. But I'm trying to outrun it. For this one, I decided to say screw it and just run and try to get away. It did hit me there, and the more you get hit, the more of like cocoon looking around your peripherals. I just kept going. I was like, I really need to get through this. I didn't want to take any things. Now, much like the Happy Mask Salesman guy, if I know the room is short enough, I'm just going to go for it. And I kind of just went for this anyways, because it would have been so much time lost to just sit there and walk and have that guy follow you. So I did get hit there. I did get really lucky, though. He does stop chasing me after a point. And thankfully, after a couple of rooms, like I had said previously, your health does go back. So it's not like once you're hit, you're hit. You can hear him coming through. I hate this one the most. I've had a run die on him several times. Like a room like this is bad. It's really bad because you're getting hit. But I think after you get hit once, it changes to the slow form and then it changes back. So it gives you enough time to kind of get away. And it's gone now, thankfully. Now, thankfully for the rest of the run, we will not see him. That's not always the case, though. I just got really good RNG. Except for a room like this, and then we get the bad RNG. I think I ended up guessing and get really lucky. So, like, yeah, usually I'll go, like, I'll pick a direction, and I'll just go through it until it stops dinging. And then usually if I get, like, 2 or 3, I'm, like, set. Alright. So, yeah, because these rooms are so long, we're not even, like, we're, like, almost... We're only like at 629. A normal area we'd be done by now. We'd probably be at 650. But because these are so long, I don't know why this area in particular has long. I think that's the whole gimmick of the long rooms and the potential of having a specimen like the one you just saw coming to kill you. Which I don't like. It's just, it's kind of annoying. But I guess it would be a good good time to read donations. Alright, cool. Another one of the rooms that has the backers on the wall. There are a few Easter eggs in this game too as well. Unfortunately, I can't stop to really see them. But like in the Happy Mask Salesman area, like before you meet him in one of the rooms, there's a bunch of masks on the wall. And on one of the masks is Cryotic from Twitch and from YouTube. So nice little throwback there. But yeah, I get a bunch of whining rooms and all that. It's just recipe for disaster. Thankfully, I think after room 650, though, they start becoming less big and windy. I think it's just the 50 mark. And then, like, after that, the rest of the game is rooms that are nowhere near this. So... Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there. Lots of trekking. Oh lord, this is when I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is where I almost died. Now, like, I know this room I can get through and it's fine. But this, no. This is bad. He's like right there. And you gotta look at him. If you don't look at him, like, I could have died one more hit and I'd be dead. At this point, I was freaking out a little bit. Mostly because I'm 51 minutes into the run, and I would hate for it to die at this. I took some chances, though. I was really scared here, because I was like, okay, it's locked. If he hits me, I'm done. I need to not be touched by him. One more hit, and I would have been gone. So that's bad. Also, this area put me into the red a bit, which is unfortunate, but I do make a comeback, though. Like I said, this room is this area is a notorious run killer. If you don't get a bunch of short rooms. Now, unfortunately, because there's no save point at 650, he's still chasing me. So even though we've got a checkpoint there, he's still murdering me. I think I didn't split at 650 either. If I'm looking at my splits there, I think I forgot to split. I think I'm just more focused on not dying. And then I was like, oh wait, I forgot to split. Yeah, so sorry about that. When you're about to die, or when you're trying not to die rather, it's very hard because this is all manually split and run on RTA, which is good because that's how GDQ does it. So it'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, this area I had really bad anxiety. This is the worst area to get him in. Is these long windy rooms and specimens popping out and trying to do that. I kind of just went for it though. But if you're really lucky, you can turn around at the last second before he drops on the ground and just get away from him. Oof. It is bad. I'm hoping this does not happen at SGDQ because, yeah, it's really, really bad. I don't remember how many more rooms he goes for. I think only a couple more. Ugh. He's just the worst, though. I guess I was wrong. I guess the rooms are long, all the way up from 600 to 700. Now, like, you don't always get him here, though. Like, I remember one of my runs, I got the goop guy. And as soon as the Happy Mask Salesman guy is there, I instantly get the centipede. Which is fine. But because I can run out of stamina, though, it can catch up to me. So it can be a little bit of a pain. Alright. And I always thought that room 666 was going to be something super spooky, but it's not, unfortunately. It's just a room. I thought it would have been like a cool Easter egg, but no, nothing. Nice little chandelier area. Alright, I think we're pretty home free for the rest of these next 31 rooms, though. They're just going to be a mixture of long and short. Alright. Yeah, I was a little frustrated myself because I just want to get through this area. It's my least favorite in the game, as you can see why. But I guess if you were playing it casually, I mean, even playing it casually is kind of like, just let me through. Alright. So there are big periods of lulls where nothing's happening, but that just goes with any game, I suppose. Of course, Silent Hill guy's after us now. At least throwing some fun stuff on the screen, at least. It does get kind of annoying because sometimes what'll end up happening is he'll mess up like the textures like that, and you won't know what direction you're going. Sometimes you get lost because the door gets covered in it as well, and it's kind of hard to see. We're almost at the finish line, at least for room 700. I'm pretty sure for the rest of this there was nothing super scary to get me. At least I don't think so. I think I got lucky here and I got a bunch of repeat rooms, which does help. So I just want to get through here. Well, thankfully, I did save some time on this next split. I mean, over a period of an hour and saving almost 40 seconds was actually really nice. I was only off of second place only by like 8 or 9 seconds anyway, so I was really happy to not only get second place, but be able to film it here and talk with you guys about it. Usually when I upload these, I don't do any commentary at all because I do them offline. Because what I normally stream isn't really what this is. I just thought this was cool to play. Normally I don't speedrun this, but I thought it would be a cool thing to submit. That a lot of people would like it, because I really like it. Alright. Another 100 rooms down. Don't worry, the rest of the run is not like that, though. That's just the worst area. Hang in there. You can do it. We can help. Papa John's. Not the pizza guy, though, unfortunately. Alright, room 700. Let's go. And of course, right off the bat, this area. So, like, I got really lucky there. I just guessed. So I got 3 out of the 4, and then you just continue on. And look, I got it. Alright, cool. Now, the next themed area is going to be at room 710, which is kind of a funny, weird area. We call it Burger King Land. You'll see why in a minute. I'm actually get a chance to actually see the centipede here. I have to double back. Actually, no, I didn't have to. If it was one of the other ways, you would have had to see it because I would have had to go the other direction. It's pretty creepy looking. Alright, so we call this Burger King Land because we're literally in a restaurant. So we go into the girls' bathroom here. We grab a key from the disgusting toilet. And then we go into the play place where we all grew up on. Take your shoes off. We used to go through here like Discovery Zone and all those other fun areas that had these, like the old McDonald's back in the day. we're going through here because we have to get another key. It's really not hard to get lost. Just continue on the straight path and you'll be good. But yeah, the music is really creepy. First time I heard this, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be a clown. It's going to be something really, really scary. But thankfully for this, well, A, you can't run and you don't have to worry about your stamina. So I believe this next area here is where we get the key. Yeah, so we get the key, the giant key, and we're out. So we need to go use this key to go into the meat locker. Get the key to get out of here. Also a bunch of files to read and such too, but nothing important. So this guy has music. This guy is like Satan. He looks like Satan. So his gimmick is he makes doors disappear. So if you don't know the layout of a room, you're gonna run into what looks like a dead end. He almost got me through the door there. That was really scary. So that's his whole gimmick, is he makes doors go away. He's not particularly fast, but if you don't know where you're going and you get lost, you could easily run into a wall and be like, where's the door? But thankfully I play this game all the time and I know where 90% of the doors are. His music's really weird as well. So yeah, he's not really one of the particularly more threatening ones. There really isn't any more threatening ones after this. We meet 2 more specimens before the game is done, and they're not particularly bad. They're only very spooky for their area. So he only chased us for a short amount of time, thankfully. Another one of these rooms. So the next themed area will be room, I think it's in the 800s, which will get like a, it's Amnesia: The Dark Descent. If you've ever played that game, that's that area, which is kind of scary, but it's also kind of cool. Get like a lantern and everything. I do like the little throwbacks to like other horror areas. It makes the game a lot more relatable, I guess, if you've ever played these games. Now, for room 750 is the only exception where we will get a checkpoint instead of at room 800 because it's the 3/4 of the way mark. So we will meet Spooky again in the next 10 rooms or so. She does something super special for us. I almost lost where I was going for a second. And I got really, really scared here because not only was I chased by the other guy, now I'm chased by the Happy Mask Salesman through this room, which is the worst room to get him in because not only is the path winding, it also has dead ends. Thankfully, I didn't have dead ends on this one, and he didn't get me. I was really, really spooked because that could have been really bad. If it was one of the other rooms, it would have been terrible. Now I'm pretty sure I get to room 750 without any issues. Yeah, the rest of these rooms are going to be fine. I think I might get hit here. I don't remember. No, we're good. Alright. 3/4 of the way there. So we have quote-unquote unlimited stamina, but she's lying to us. We have no stamina. We can't run at all for the next 10 rooms. So for a speed run, we have to hope that it's not long rooms, that it's short rooms. Now, thankfully, the game is not super mean and gives us specimens during these areas because it would just be very unfair. So unfortunately for me, I got one of the puzzle rooms, the worst one you could get. Because it's only 10 rooms, then you get it back. And I was sitting here when I was actually recording thinking, okay, cool. A bunch of these rooms, we're good, we're set. And then I was like, oh no. So we have to walk through this 3 times. So it was a lot of time lost here. It could be worse though. That spooks me every time. But yeah, we just gotta go through it 3 times. I don't remember how I learned how you had to do it. I just watched one of the other speedrunners do it. I was like, oh, that's how you do that. Yeah, okay. So time loss, but it's okay. And we're out. Sound of whoosh, and we're finally able to run again. And I think we're being chased by our good old devil friend again. After your initial encounter with him, he doesn't play music. He's completely silent, which is really scary. You only know he's there when the door disappears. I'm pretty sure we're being chased by him. Or maybe we're not. No, we're not. It's another part. I'm just making myself paranoid. Now, if you listen to that phone call in that last room there, it's actually a little nod to Half-Life 2, which is pretty cool. Alright, cool. We're almost done. This run does fly by when you're not thinking about it. Getting through 1,000 rooms in an hour and a half takes a lot of doing. But it not only it's more than 1,000 rooms though. Like even though it's run through 1,000, there's those themed areas where the rooms don't change until you get out of it, and then you know the puzzle rooms and whatnot. So, and then there's a final boss at the end too after room 1,000, which we have to kill, and the run ends on his final blow. Now, the goop guy can actually float over to me, so we gotta be careful a little bit. He's not super fast, but he can't catch up to you if you don't know where you're going. It is really annoying to have all the, like, 3 piles of the goop on your way to a door, but thankfully if the rooms are wide like that, it's not a super big deal. Now, I think I get caught here, though, because the door's locked. Okay, no, not that one. I think there is one more time in the run that I have to double back and you get hit, which, you know, it's not like a death sentence or anything. Once it's done, then you're done. Not now, skeleton. Now, unfortunately, I did get several of these rooms. I'm hoping that this doesn't happen later on. But yeah, it just, when you get this room, you're like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. Because this is the longest, well, it's not the longest room in the game, but it's like the most annoying to get. Especially if you get like a whole bunch of them. I've had them like 3 times back to back to back, and then you just gotta reset. Alright. 200 more rooms, guys. So now we've got some nice blue textures here. Unfortunately, right off the bat, we get the puzzle room. I don't even really call it a puzzle. I mean, I guess unless you didn't know what it was, but it's just a waste of time. You might get spooked every now and then, because that thing doesn't pop up every single time. It's just, it waits, it tries to wait for you. But let's see, like that time, nothing happened. Oh, and we're getting chased by the deer god, which is really creepy. I'd like to show it, but I'll probably end up showing it during the actual run. But yeah, we don't want to get eaten because it wants to feed us to its children and all that, and we don't want that to happen. And my submission is inevitable, it says. So it just wants to eat me. But it's okay, we're faster than it. If this game had unlimited stamina though, it probably wouldn't be nearly as fun. Alright, so this next area is like a clock tower area, like the actual game clock tower. So you go into that, or you grab the fireplace, you get the bedroom key. Go upstairs, go through there, go to the bedroom, and you hide. We have to do this is forced. So this guy is pretty much like Scissor Man from Clock Tower, but he looks like he's an Eskimo guy that says creepy things with a sickle. I'll let him talk. Yeah, he'll never find you when you're actually inside of here, but you just have to hide though. And then when you hear him leave, you can leave. Okay, so he's gone. He actually glitched there for a second. He was actually still in the room for a hot minute. So we get the library key, which he miraculously dropped for whatever reason. Go into the library, grab the parlor key, go through, go around, go into the parlor key, and hide in these boxes because he's gonna pop up again. You'll always know by his music. This guy's the creepiest out of all of them, though. Because he actually says things to you. But basically, he's just searching around the room for no reason. He's apparently super lonely. That's the first time I actually heard him say that line when I was recording this. I kind of felt bad for a minute. I feel like he's lying to me. He just wants to kill me. But you gotta, unfortunately, because these are forced wait rooms, there's no RNG in this. You just have to wait for it. So it's forced time. So everybody has to deal with this. But he's about to leave. Yep, so he's gone. So you leave, you take the book, we go back to the library. You put it in the magical slot, and we have a secret compartment. Down to the cellar where his domain is, and it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. Go through the door, go through this door. Lots of particles in the air. Because we got one more key to get. We have to get the key that's actually to get out of here. And of course it's down in a creepy, creepy cellar. Where else would it be? So as soon as we get in here, we have to hide inside this cabinet and wait for him again. So thankfully it's only 3 times, but still. The reason why I'm quiet because I want you guys to hear what he says. Now, thankfully, he doesn't see me, because I remember the first time I heard that, I thought it was like, oh dear. Thankfully, he's not in this room for super long, though. You can apparently smell me as well, which is creepy. Alright, so as soon as you leave, the exit key is here, and we just make our way to the exit, which is back in the room where we got the first key. So we basically just, we haul butt out of here. Because now he's going to be chasing us as soon as we go through the next door, and he's actually really fast. Like he can haul after you pretty quickly if you aren't running. And he's actually the controller of that one ghost thing you see on the puzzle room. So yeah, and apparently I will like being dead. I promise. He says I like being alive. Thank you. All right, we're out of his area. So yeah, he's chasing us for a bit. And he will come after us pretty scarily. Thankfully, we only see him at this point. I don't think we see him again, or at least during this. It can happen with RNG, but thankfully we didn't see him. Of course you hear me. I'm running ahead of you. We'll lose him in a few rooms. It would be no big deal. Thankfully, he can't face through walls. He's actually like a physical entity, so he's not like one of the ghosts that can mess with you. But he's still pretty unnerving. And he's gone. So thankfully they only chase you for a certain amount of rooms. Alrighty. So only 70 more rooms to go for this area. We'll probably run into a specimen or two throughout it. It's usually the case. And of course, this puzzle. So like, I got 2 out of 3 there, so that's good. And there's no set pattern, unfortunately, so it's not like a process of elimination. And I'm out. Cool. I like the way this looks out of all the areas because it's kind of got that blue color. Now I'm being chased by the deer god again. Now she faced through the wall there and actually got me. It does happen from time to time, but unfortunately it's not that big a deal. But you do run out of stamina though on some of these long rooms. But she's not super fast, she's just scary. Alright, almost at that halfway point. Fortunately, I am losing time as I go. I do gain up a bunch at the end, though. Alright. Only 150 more rooms to go. Thankfully, a lot of the times I'll get a bunch of longer or shorter rooms, and these fly through really quickly. She's still chasing me though. Oh, she's gone. Alright. So the rest of this is just going to be just a lot of the same. Running through. Hoping for shorter rooms and not dangerous specimens. But I hope you guys are actually enjoying this run. I know that it's your job just to review it, but I hope that you're enjoying the commentary. I'm trying my best to be informative and talk about the game as much as I can. Usually I'm deadly silent when I play this because I have no one to talk to, but it's good to actually talk about it. So hopefully I've answered any questions and I've talked about it in detail enough. But I've been running this game since December of last year, so it's not been super long, but in this short period of time, I've managed to start doing really well at it. So it's like one of my favorite things to run. And I'm hoping to take world record in both the 750 category and the 1000 category at some point, but it's not important right now. All right. It's kind of lonely when there's nothing happening. You kind of almost want a specimen to pop up just to make it a little spicy, but unfortunately, you get like these super long rooms like this, where you just want it to end. All right. So I would definitely probably have donations read at this point. Also, we're being chased by the worst person ever. But I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a lot of long rooms. Now, he's more than likely going to chase us all the way up to room 900, though. Probably. But it could be worse. It could be back in the other areas that were super, super long. But these rooms aren't particularly too helpful. But we're getting really lucky. This is some pretty decent RNG. Alright. We're in the home stretch. So I happen to get a lot of rooms, like all those rooms right there, those are all duplicate rooms. So we flew through in a matter of seconds. Come on, home stretch. And he's gone. Of course, right before the last room is when he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Alright, room 900. 100 more rooms left. Alright, so this next area is the last of the patterns. Kind of this dark gray brick. But we're at the very bottom area of the game. Unfortunately, we got this puzzle again. But, you know, just take the hand you're dealt. Over the course of the entire run, getting a couple of these throughout the run isn't the worst thing in the world. We don't want it, but it could be worse. I'd rather have one of these than one of those the super, super long winding rooms, because I can get through this way faster than that. So our next themed area is going to be in room 910, as all the other ones have been. Usually in the 10s or the 50s. It's usually a 10. So now we're at Amnesia the Dark Descent land. So we go to the right here. I made a mess up here. I couldn't find the lantern. I thought it was in this room, but I was wrong. I was extremely wrong. I was looking at papers for whatever reason, but it's in this room. I'm like, oh, there's a lantern. So, got the lantern. So there is a note that tells us the code on this door here, but it's actually just 4132. We open that up, turn on the power, the water pump. Actually, it is so that way we can get through. And now we're in the water area. If you remember, if you've ever played Amnesia the Dark Descent, you know what this is. The scariest part of the game. So we go in this room, grab a key, go through this, back out the door. Now, they actually made this like some sort of mermaid monster. We only see it here, but it chases us through. You can hear it chasing us in the water. Now, these upcoming rooms are RNGs, so if you're lucky, you can get rooms that are short, or you get rooms that are long. Long rooms are obviously bad because it can't catch up to you. Thankfully, during this, it did catch up to me once. But if it did catch up to you, there's plenty of these boxes to stand on so it doesn't get you, and you can let your stamina go in. I just happened to get really lucky during that. Now, thankfully, these rooms aren't forever. It's only another like handful of rooms, and then it's back to normal rooms. So this is a really small themed section. It's not particularly hard, and this creature obviously can't appear in any other part of the game. And that'll be the last, no, actually, no, that'll be the second to last specimen we face, because the final boss is the very last specimen. But I like this area a lot, because I like Amnesia the Dark Descent is one of like my favorite horror games that I played back in the day. So it was a nice little nod to it. I've never actually been hit by it, or by that thing, so I'm quite happy that it didn't happen. Alright, and we're out. Alright, 80 more rooms to go. A few support beams and boxes. We are in the very, very, very depths. I'm pretty sure that the original game, the original Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, actually had this background. So it's the kind of like, oh, you know, we got Renovation, so we're at the very bottom of everything, which is kind of a cool little touch. So final thoughts on the home stretch here. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Arcade room again. So yeah, random RNG rooms, lots of spookiness, themed areas, potential for death, stamina conservation. Basically just hoping for short rooms. It is a fun little speed run to do. I'm being chased by the Burger King Satan, whatever his name is. I think he did end up duping me in one of these rooms where I couldn't figure out where the door was. I think it's this room. Yeah, this room. I was like, oh, where? And then it came back. Yep. Now, thankfully, I didn't actually get hit by him here. I don't know where he came from, but he's gone. Thankfully, the door was locked and I could get through it. Alright, 950. 50 more rooms. Final push. I don't know if there's going to be any more specimens. I'm pretty sure this is going to be it. Oh, I could be wrong though. Just lots of puzzle rooms that are constantly there. I wanted to get one last hurrah before the end. As you can see, the world record for this is like almost an hour and 27 minutes. I don't know where he saved. He got really good RNG, so taking another 3 minutes off the run overall is going to be a challenge. But, you know, I've done it before, so I'm hoping to completely take all the world records for this game. Alright, cool. We're through. Now, for some reason, the final like save room area is in room 995. I figured it'd be at 1,000, but it's not. It's really weird. Alright. Some of these rooms are super, super dark, though, unfortunately. But then you get like super light rooms like this. I'm hearing noises behind me. I don't know what those noises mean. I think it's something chasing me, but I don't know. I heard it while I was doing this and I wasn't sure what it was. But it did scare me a little bit. I only hear it there though. Oh no, it's him. That's why it's disappearing. Alright, 30 more rooms. The final boss is also pretty neat, where we actually have to fight something. So it'd be, instead of becoming like a free roam game where we're just running through RNG and just trying to get through, it's actually like we actually stand our ground and fight. Now, the axe that you get from the deer area, those deer that you do end up seeing, you can kill them, but you'll get the bad ending if you do that. You can't kill the deer, so we run by them. Not that it matters during a speed run, but if you're trying to like unlock achievements and whatnot, you just don't want to do that. You want to get the good ending, because Spooky will get mad that you killed the deer for whatever reason. I mean, they're trying to kill me first, but don't know why. Ah, locked, of course. Always that always happens to me. I don't, for some reason I always go to the door on the right, always. Just a force of habit. The goop monster got one last hurrah. Alright, coming up on the save room now. Last time to go down. It's weird that the last 5 rooms are just even lower than low. We're in the very, very depths. Alright. Now, when I actually run this at GDQ, if I have to get in, I'm going to play it off like it's the end, because the ending makes it actually seem like it's an actual end, but it's not. We gotta cut it, and we're out, guys. Congratulations. It's the end. We're outside. We're free. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sky and the lush green ground. Look at all those clouds. Birds chirping, music playing. It's perfect. We get through 1,000 rooms. Oh, what's this? What's the problem? Hello? Oh, Vista Sky error. Fatal error. Oh no. It was all a program. Uh-oh, what's that? Yeah, we end up cutting her off. That door disappears so we can do it. Well, this last area is a little weird. There's doors, but you actually push through them. Alright, it's boss time. creepy red demon monster. Take me to the dead, take me to the dead. Alright, so this boss has a few attacks. So the first thing it'll do, it'll put a bunch of stuff on your screen. And then there's these, like, I don't know, souls portal thingy screaming at me, tower pillars. Just dodge them. And then you'll get the creepy... It reminds me of the hands from Zelda. And then he'll put a couple of henchmen. Now, much like Zelda, you're going to be following a power ball back at it. As soon as it does that, it goes to the ground. You just axe it as much as you can. You can kill him in 3 cycles. So that's what we're going to try to do. And then, of course, we get slimed with blood. Now, as the cycles go on, he's going to put more and more. I did get hit by that one. Just got to dodge and wait. He'll have more hands. You kind of just... It's easy to do, just dodge him. Alright. Wait for it. Volley it back. You only have to volley one and just lay into him. You just gotta make sure you get every hit that you can. There's just a whole mess of them now. All these hands. This is the last cycle. It's not particularly hard. It's just... But it's the only time that we haven't ran from anything. Alright, and then... One last volley. Boop. Just lay into him. And he's dead. And that's the game. And we would time there. And I'll let you guys enjoy the credits. I'll be quiet. So the ceiling caves in on us, and we're dead. All for nothing.
You died. In a pretty tragic way, too. Just tragic enough for you to become a ghost. Good job, by the way, making it this far. So buckle up, soldier, because now, I finally think we have enough troops to invade.
So this was all to take over the world. And I'm a ghost.
The time has come, my loyal troops. No longer shall we be called cute or adorable. No longer will we be disregarded and ignored. For now, we are the most feared army in the world.
Indeed. Did you really think it was going to end seriously? Well, maybe. But that's it. That's the end. It'll show us our final time. 1 hour and 20 minutes, so like I said, their timer's different than this one we use. We zoom past the credits there. And yeah, a lot of good things. Alrighty guys, well that's been Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion HD Renovation, rooms 1 through 1000, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I hope you accept my submission. Thanks for watching.